Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ascension Files. I'm here with Jacquie Ellis, and she's in the middle of telling us this amazing awakening story of her back in 2018. Go ahead, Jacquie. Keep going.
Thank you for having me on. In 2018, I was in I hit rock bottom. I had been blindly awake in my growth journey, my personal development journey for about 15 years prior to that. But in 2018, I actually hit rock bottom. And it was a moment where I was in a toxic work environment, and I was physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually broken. My anxiety was at its worst. I would have panic attacks on Saturday morning at 3 o'clock in the morning just because Monday was getting closer. And my husband at that point, he woke up, and then once he got me calmed down, we talked about why I was having that anxiety attack. And he says, "You're done. You're done." And I said, "But I don't have a plan. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know if I can do anything. I'm so broken." Mm-hmm. And he goes, "We'll figure it out." I'd like to say that I was able to pick myself up immediately, but I wasn't. Mm-hmm. I wasn't. It took me a long time to find my voice again. I blogged for a number of years, for about 2 years, trying to find my voice, trying to find my purpose. Really just felt disconnected in some way, right? Not really understanding the energetics behind what I was going through. Right?
Yeah.
I was lost.
Were you a student for life at this point? So was it hard for you? So for me, I always studied. I've always wanted to learn. I've always been a bookworm, but it was as if the one thing that I never knew, never got introduced to, never went into even in my aura was this bioenergetics. And I just realized as I started breaking down, I was in very good physical shape. It was like my circuitry couldn't handle the load anymore. And so my decay was literally an emotional decay because it was the one thing I had completely overlooked.
Yeah, I would say I got really good at disconnecting from my intuition. And stuffing my feelings.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Busy was a habit. So I was in the habit of just doing, and not, I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't know how to being still for me was like non-existent.
My foot, even when I was sitting still, my foot was doing this all the time.
I had to move. I had to be busy. I was like queen of multitasking. Right?
That's what made me successful, was being able to do all the things nobody wanted to do. Because I was like, whatever, I'll just do it because I just needed to do stuff. I get that completely.
Yeah, I was the go-to person for everybody.
I call a utility player like in baseball. You play all the positions.
And part of that was because I can see patterns.
Multidimensional. Right. That's right. That's the gift and a curse of this multidimensional brain we've always had, but we never knew how to harness.
Yeah. So my previous life, I was an industrial engineer.
Ooh.
So as an industrial engineer, I was able to look at processes and see the patterns that weren't working and be able to decode what needed to change and how to train people to look at things, or how to explain it in a way that people understood, to see that, so they could see what wasn't working and what would work. Yes. Right? And that's what I do now with my coaching.
I know, it's brilliant. I was in the Marine Corps. I was an aviation mechanic, and I did Lean Six Sigma because everything had to be processed out.
I'm a black belt.
Oh my gosh, I got my green belt. I never got to do the test, but that's actually what I wanted to do outside of the military. I just didn't know what it was, and then I just went into business. But my
Yeah.
thing was I love systems and processes, and that's what brings so much value to me in my path now. I'm in a creative space, right? But everything's systemized, everything's processed out. And because of that, it allows me to have more time. And with more time, I can flow more. And man, and that's another thing that with my business partner, we brought the systems and processes to the video production industry, and it just streamlined. We knew just streamlined everything, and organization. It cleared. It's almost like emotional feng shui.
Yeah. Yeah. So my house runs like an industrial engineering process. Like it's everything I do, everything if something's not flowing in my life, I look at it like a process, right? What's not working.
And so in
right?
2018, when you're at rock bottom, you had all these processes, all these systems, everything planned, everything prepared, and still
It crashed.
you had to. And that's what my guides came to tell me is you had to go through this.
I did because I didn't understand. I kept hearing the words live bigger. And I was not living bigger. And they got stronger. And as I worked on my own personal growth and started finding my voice again, I started hearing those words even stronger and louder. But it was like they were behind a wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know why I couldn't break through that wall. I just knew that what I was talking about on my blog, trying to do everything that I'd spend hours wasting time being productive, right? Trying to find what the hot topic is everybody was wanting to know.
I think we're like the same person. It's
crazy. And it's like, why am I doing this? And I'm like, you know what? Taking pictures of my cupboards and how they're organized is really not what lights my fire. It's not, it's superficial for me, right? There's nothing wrong if that's what lights someone else up, if that's what their purpose is to help people, because people need that help, right?
But you're doing it for an ends to a means.
I was doing it because I thought that was the answer. I was looking outside of myself for the answer when I should have been looking inside. But my soul inside of me was going, what are you doing? Wake up.
It was like screaming at me.
It was
I was just doing whatever I could to.
Right. So in 2020, I finally broke down and invested in myself and hired a coach. And she helped me find that root energy that was holding me captive. But the problem is like the mindset work that she did was powerful in that she was able to drill down and help me see. She was able to help me see that. But once I saw it, it was like this Pandora box was open and it was
Geyser.
I was left with this open Pandora box and I'm like, what do I do with the rest of this? Right?
I wanted that. I didn't.
I'm like, how do I close this thing? Like,
stop it. Stop. And it's like, nope.
Yeah.
Welcome.
So I cut the root of that energy.
How did you do that? I want to hit on that real quick.
Okay. So she said something to me that really resonated one morning. She said, what are you thinking about? After she said that. And the words that came to me were, I was abused. And I had never said those words ever. My brain had convinced me that I didn't have it as bad as everyone else.
Yep.
My brain had convinced me that what I had gone through wasn't harmful. It had put these protective barriers in front of those emotions, but yet those emotions, that energy was trapped and it was keeping me small.
Yes.
Trying to keep me safe. It was also creating situations where I unknowingly was accepting a victim mentality when I was in other situations, like my work situation I was in.
It's the brain is just incredible what it
Powerful.
twist
It
and
does.
project.
And it's got nothing to really it wasn't my fault. It was generational trauma that I had inherited and added more energy to over my lifetime. It wasn't my fault.
No.
And it's not anyone else's fault. If you inherit generational stuff, it is not your fault. You're just living in these patterns that you think are your fault, but they're not your fault.
And here's the other thing. It's because the people before us, which was the generational, I call this ancestral trauma. It's like we don't go through our storm. And because we don't handle our stuff, we just turn around and just, we just like put it right on our little people because they're us. Your family line, your lineage, it's a soul lineage, man. Like your grandmother, your great grandmother could be you. You know what I mean? It's so when we abuse the little ones that we create, we're just abusing ourselves. And that's what this darkness, this matrix has been for the last 12,000 years, has been that perpetual cycle nonstop. Woo. Yeah. And we're the breakers. We're those chain breakers.
We weren't meant to carry that baggage. And some of that baggage is like I do energy work with people now, and I see the baggage partially healed, but it's still there creating issues. So people before us, like the generations before us, realized at some point that there was a better way, but they didn't have the tools to fully release what they needed to release.
I think you let go of those programs. We maintain those behaviors and those programs, even when we let go of that trauma. There's a third step that Western medicine doesn't talk about because that's where they make all their money.
When I was working through, I finally made that distinction and said it out loud. And I was a puddle. I was a blubbering mess. And my coach said to me, I said, I've never said those words. And she said, Jacquie, you have experienced the trifecta of abuse. Mental, physical, and emotional. She goes, that's not something to take lightly. Now, am I angry? Am I hurt? Am I holding grudges for the people in my past that created those situations? No. Because I've done enough energy work in people that I know it's not their fault.
And it's not gonna do anything for you.
No.
It's just gonna burn you up.
Like I actually practice, I show people how to forgive. Because you need to forgive.
You want to give an example right here?
Yeah. So when we're forgiving so we release ourselves.
Yes. Okay.
From that energetic pain. Mm-hmm. Right. And so what I do is and you can forgive yourself as well this way. So what I do is I have people say, I want, my clients are struggling with beating themselves up, right? Emotionally. They're like struggling with blaming, self-judgment and blame for something that they shouldn't. And if they're doing it, it's not helping them grow, right? And heal. So I have them picture themselves holding an energetic cord. Mm-hmm. And on the other end of that cord is themselves, their old self for whatever in that moment, right? And then I have them send love through that energetic cord, because that person that they were was on a journey. That person that was attached to the pain, that other person was on a journey, right? So they send love through that, and then they energetically picture something, whatever tool they want to picture, cutting that cord. And when that cord is released, they're free energetically of pain that was attached to that cord, that was running through that cord. That's the energy they're holding on to. If they're holding on, that energy that's running through that cord was the pain, the trauma, the self-judgment.
And it's real. It's a real solar plexus. When you engage with someone, you created a horizontal energy tube from your solar plexus to their solar plexus. Only 7% of communication is verbal. The rest is all this amazing technology interacting with each other.
Yeah.
You know, and so what you're saying is you can visualize yourself cutting that energy cord and then being able to sit in your own energy finally and know what's yours and what isn't.
Yeah. You're not disconnecting from yourself in any way. In fact, you're reconnecting with yourself when you do this.
Because now it's your energy and it's self-contained.
You're not disconnecting from the other person and cutting them out of their life. If you choose to do it, that's what you need. That's your choice.
And it'll be easier now because you cut that energy cord.
You've cut the energy cord. So now you have the opportunity to have a healthier relationship with that person.
Codependent, let's call it the codependent energy cord.
Right? You don't need to hold on to that pain anymore. Right? You're releasing it for you. Mm-hmm. So you can have more love for yourself. Right?
And what were the results you've heard of teaching your clients this technique?
I've had people that have been in abusive relationships and are now divorced from those people, and they were able to actually interact with those people afterwards with not as much pain attached. I've had clients who would spend months and months and months around the anniversary of a death mm-hmm. that they had mourned around, like their parent, and they would mourn months before and months afterwards every year. And this year, after they had done that, they were actually remembering good memories instead of painful ones, which is freeing. So they were actually able to have good, positive thoughts about the person on the day of the passing, right? The anniversary of the passing, instead of being in a deep depression months before and months after.
You went through your dark winter and you hired a coach. You did your massive healing, because that's what I healed from last year myself. I was sexually abused, molested when I was 6, and then I blacked it out and I didn't remember. And so I poisoned myself for 25 years. I was like you, I was very forthcoming. I was very gung-ho. I did a lot. I accomplished a lot, but it was at the expense of myself the whole time, because I was running from myself. I learned what happened. I purged it, finally felt self-compassion. And then my life just evolved in a matter of 8 months. It's completely different now. And so that happened to you in 2020 as well, or you kind of came, no, it happened to you in 2018. You hit your rock bottom, you came back out, you had this purge in 2020 with your coach, right?
2020, I started doing some really active mindset work. I was new in the background, but I had always minimized it, right? Like the whole spare the rod, spoil the child mentality, right? The bullying, mentally and emotionally, I always knew that it was there, right? It was just part of my story, but I didn't realize the damage it was doing from me coming forth and fulfilling my purpose.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
Right? It was keeping me locked in a box. And I was done being in this box. I was done hearing universe go live bigger and me going, what do I need to do? Right?
I mean, when you see in movies where you're on your, like, you see people on their knees begging God, just like, please help. Like, I don't know what's going on. I've been there multiple times. And what's funny is every time I'm on my knees and I'm begging, it's because I'm resisting and not letting go of what it is I need to then move into this new next phase of my healing.
100%. There was resistance, right? So I found this resistance. And then as soon as I cut that root, I could, like, just saying it, I could feel healing energy come through me. Okay. But it wasn't enough. So the root was there, the root was cut, but this energy was like floating around inside of me. And my brain now was in this negative spiral. And everything I did, I was like a victim and abused, and people were attacking me. And I'm like, I can't live this way. I was now conscious enough that I was able to catch those thoughts and notice the spiral, which is key, right?
Awareness.
But I didn't know what to do to fix that. And all of a sudden, so I was on my way to work one morning and I said, how do I stop this? What do I need to do to stop this? And I hear the words, repeat after me. And I'm given these words direct from universe, right? I was abused. I am no longer a victim. I am being and doing better simply by being me.
That is just crying, just pure love. You're like, why do you love
As
me
I'm
so
saying these statements, they're affirmations, but energetically, they're hitting the root. And I could tell because I was emotional. I should have pulled over.
Oh, you're driving.
I should have pulled over. I was driving and the tears started coming. And I was like, I just kept repeating them. And then as I repeated them, my voice started getting stronger and stronger and stronger until it hit that exacting tone. That exacting tone, the energetic tone that woke up my brain again and said, oh, okay, she's no longer a victim. I can stop the spiral. And at that moment, what I didn't realize is that I was alchemizing that shadow. I was alchemizing that dense, toxic energy that I had held within me.
For years.
And that's what I teach people now, right? So I did a deep dive in shadow alchemy, right? After that moment, I was guided to learn it. I was guided to pull back the curtain and see what was behind it. And then as I did that, I was able to clear out more dense energy within me. I was able to actually look inside that Pandora box and get through it, right?
With love, because you didn't fight it, you didn't fear it. It was with pure compassion and love for yourself, because it's the shadow. There's nothing wrong with the shadow. I hear a lot of
shadow kept me alive.
It did. If you go after the human ego, you realize it's the scared, neglected little boy or girl inside, and you heal that little boy and girl inside, and you just take off.
People get scared. They think they're evil. They think they're harmful. Yeah, they think they're demons.
And they can be pretty demonic.
They can be.
The darkness can be.
And they can make you do some very strange things, right? but they were never intended to do that. The intention of the shadow, I was actually given a message for people, and it's in my book, but I'll share it here.
Yay!
When we are born, we're born with, our soul is complete. And it's this tiny little bright orb inside of us, right? And we inherit its stuff, and it's like blankets of energy that dim our soul, right? And then with every pain, every trauma, every belief that doesn't align with our soul, pieces of our soul break off. But a guide, we all have our spiritual guide that's been assigned to collect these pieces of our soul. And in those empty spots is shadow energy. And it's just meant to hold our souls together so they don't crumble into a shattered mess.
Because there's facets and fragments to souls.
Yes.
Like diamonds.
Yes. Right? And when we're ready to heal, when we're ready to heal that shadow energy and alchemize it and heal from it, those pieces are put back into our soul to make our soul complete again.
I know that's truth right there because my eyes are starting to water. I feel like just I'm going to cry. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Truth. I've gotten similar downloads of how the soul works and facets and fractals and fragments and bringing that light back. It's why it's called becoming whole, holy. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
they've just manipulated these words, and that's part of what this book is and what Light Warriors is all about. And I take biblical terms and stories and I try to explain them in a way that's actually digestible to everyone. And they go, wait, you're telling me this is what this meant the whole time? Yeah, they lied to us about it. I can accept that. I think everything is already here, Jackie. Everything we need to know is already here. We just need to translate it, transcribe it, redo it. And that's what's amazing about our ability coming from our analytical, organized, lean Six Sigma background, is that's exactly what I wanted to be able to do.
Pull the curtain back.
I want to be able
we're able to
huge ideas and then just be able to go Barney. We call it Marine Corps. We call it Barney style. Like if your 3-year-old can't understand it, because we're not the brightest crayons in the tool shed, right? So if a 3-year-old can't understand it, then a Marine can't understand it. And then therefore we're not going to win anything. Right. So that's how I go about everything now is why do you need to speak like you're Shakespeare when you're trying to teach people? It's because there's spiritual ego still, and your identity is attached to whatever it is you're trying to give out. And there's no problem with that. But again, there's just more shadow, which we're talking about. There's just more shadow there that we need to go after. But something I realized in our community is that a lot of the light workers don't really want to go into their past, and they don't really want to dig out the roots.
Because they don't know how.
Yep. And
a lot of people think, they honestly believe they need to live with this shadow and accept that it's there.
Or kill the ego, or quiet the ego, or push the ego down. It's not going to work anymore. We're in a new earth. We're in a new vibration.
Yeah. So late, I would say like about fall of 2020, I had cleared out a significant amount of dense energy within my light body.
Yes. Right? Lionsgate. Tell me about Lionsgate. Lionsgate was just 8/8 portal was nuts. August.
Oh.
Yeah.
By that time I would feel the energy of those portals or the moons like 3-4 days before.
Just like done. I'll just be done. Done.
Like, what am I supposed to heal from? Like, just guide me. Like, I think at that point that was probably when I was going through a death and rebirth moment.
Same here. Yep. And I feel like in the last 6 months, I've done that repeatedly, and it's just becoming like normal now. I'm like, oh, well, new person today, I guess. So let's go.
Yeah, the journey just changes on a daily basis. But yeah, I would say like fall time frame, I was going through a death and a rebirth. And I actually literally, I closed my physical eyes, and in my mind's eye, my coach was worried about me because I would like say stuff like I look in my third eye, and I can see my body being shredded from my bones. And she's like, you need to ground. You need to like staple a grounding mat to your butt. She said, you need to, I'm like, I'm getting out as much as I can. I'm like
But
doing what
just
I was healing. I'd be like, I'd go to work, do my shift, come home and sit on the couch and do nothing but feel healing energy go through my body. Right?
And just because it
Then I
sounds
get up
pleasant,
and I'm
it's
like,
not pleasant
it's
always having
not,
healing
yes,
energy.
no. And I felt like I was like, what am I supposed, I'm supposed to be doing something. I'm supposed to be building up my business. I'm supposed to be,
oh my gosh,
the list of the
surrender was
guilt. I had to surrender
so much.
I had to surrender to this healing, right? I had to surrender to not knowing what was beyond the unknown, right? But even then, I still felt like there was some resistance somewhere. And so I actually had to look inside. And when I looked inside, I saw myself inside a glass box. It was no longer a brick wall. It was no longer bricks. It was not like solid bricks, right? I had tore those bricks away and like surrendered, but I still had myself in a glass box. And I had to break that glass and free myself completely to whatever my journey needed to be. I had to give up control.
Oh, that's all we were about. Was control mechanisms.
When you think about it, the energy of a victim is losing control and feeling they need to control something. They need to feel like they have control. That's why often bullies are victims themselves, right? Because they have taken the extreme of needing control and started controlling other people. When I broke that glass box, I was finally able to step into more healing energy, allow myself to fully piece together my soul and receive the gifts that were meant for me. And when I did that, the adventure got really strange.
This is what you cannot deny is you could just look at a picture of me, and when I was living my life one way. And then you can look at a picture of me 1 year after living my life this way. And I don't look like the same person anymore. I've evolved into a completely different human being. I remember there's been times, and I don't know if this was accepted or not. I'm still trying to figure some things out because you know this just stuff happens. You wake up some days, you're like, am I the same person today? Do I have the same soul in me? I don't even know anymore. Is this thing real? Is this thing on? Like, what's happening? Is this a Truman Show? But what I realized is I think it was around that time, it was the fall. It got rough again. I feel like the battle was really raging. And I remember at one point I said, if I was given the option to leave this planet right now and just go on with my sojourn, I think I'd take it. I think I'd I think I'd take it right now. And I wasn't angry like I normally am about it. And I wasn't all hibbly bibbly or anything. I was just like, I am just fucking exhausted. This is just the most intense thing I couldn't have never even thought of. And it's all I ever wanted. And now that I'm in it, I'm just like, oh my God, when's this going to be over? And I'm thinking it's like, you know, oh, 6 months. No, we got like decade, 25, no, 2,400 years in this Aquarian cycle. Is that what it is? So we're here for the long haul, people.
Since my gifts have come through, I found it a lot easier to deal with stuff because I don't have to do it the old mindset way of digging into the past. I see energy, right? So when I go into working with people through my Reiki, right, I don't just feel the energy in my hands as I'm like scanning the body distantly. I visibly with my third eye can see the energy they're holding within them, and I can help them release it. So I've been given the insight because I can see patterns. I can see what patterns are. I won't know the person at all, but I'll say this is the pattern that I was seeing in the energy that was released. The barriers that were causing the chakra from not moving in one direction, and what that typically means is this. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's my history. That's the pattern I've been struggling with, right? Again, my ability as a process engineer, right? I could see patterns. Well, now I see patterns in energy, right? And I'm able to clear that for people. So I'm able to actually, if they energetically hire me to help cleanse that energy from them, then I can actually go through and help them break through those barriers and release the energy behind it.
How long did it take you to start trusting your intuition and trusting that you knew kind of what you're talking about?
Well, as I worked with my coach in the beginning of 2020, I started being able to feel my intuition come back. I could feel it within my body. And that really helped me because then I would able to like sit and ask myself, like look for the answers within me and be able to feel if it felt aligned. Right? And that was everything for me because I had spent 2 years prior to that not knowing. I knew at that point what disalignment felt like. So when things actually felt right, I knew how the alignment was
So what you're
supposed to feel.
basically what you're just telling us here is that everything we just went through was to give us the contrast needed to trust our intuition and that inner voice so that we can go and do and use our gifts because we don't have the noise of all that program kind of discombobulating us.
Honestly, I believe, and this is my own personal belief, but I believe that we were meant to slow down enough so that we could hear. I'm going to bring up divine feminine because I was shown that we have two divine entities within us, divine feminine, divine masculine. Divine feminine is those source messages, those messages that we're supposed to hear to connect with our emotional, spiritual, mental being that aligns with our soul. And our divine masculine are the actions we're supposed to take to get stuff done, right? So that we are aligned with our soul. And we've spent so many years trapped in a doing that we weren't listening. Mm-hmm. We were disconnected from our inner powers. Right?
By illusion, just by a thought matrix.
just by illusion. And illusion is shadow energy, right? Light energy is truth.
Pure. It's pure.
And it's pure, right? So when you hear truth, when you speak truth, it cuts through somehow through that illusion and finds its way eventually, right? It's not always clear. It may take years for it to like get through that thick energy, but one time, at some point, your soul will go, yes, yes, that's what we needed to hear, right? But when you hear truth, when you speak truth, you can feel it resonate through your body.
You saw it. When you spoke that, when you said that thing, and my eyes started watering. I was like, "Ooh, she's speaking truth right now. Give me some more." Yeah, that's the stuff that gives me that energy. It makes me feel good.
Right.
And
So
that's really what's guided me on this path and on this journey has been. I just have always been a person of truth and integrity. Of course, everyone's lied in their lives. Everyone's made mistakes. Everyone's, purposely made mistakes. I mean, at the end of the day, the only reason we get upset is when we get caught. You know what I mean? That's why it's like, you're going to apologize, but you're not sorry, because if you didn't get caught, you would have never apologized. And so what I think when it comes down to it is it's the intention. And then when I joined the military, especially specifically the Marine Corps, they have very strict ethos on integrity, commitment, courage, honor, and those things. Some Marines take it to heart, some Marines don't. It was what I signed up for. I didn't join the Marine Corps for a college education. I joined the Marine Corps to be a Marine. So like I really immersed myself in that world because I needed an identity. I needed some type of community. I just felt so lost as a kid. And then I found it, but it was in such a poisonous way. You know what I mean? It was like bittersweet. I have the best friends now from the Marine Corps. At the same time, I adopted a lot of pain and a lot of struggle and a lot of strife that I had to work through. But the ethos that it instilled in me and the leadership traits and the mentality of, motivation and support and teamwork and small unit leadership, that's what I'm bringing now to what this movement's all about, the Army of Energy. And what's so important to me about this thing is meeting people like you and telling your stories, because you are now a part of the Army of Energy. You've done the work, you've walked the ascension path, you have a story, and everyone in our community has that story. And that's what's so big, is the only way we're going to be able to truly do something is if we come together and unify under a message of truth. It has to resonate from within, and the only way truth can fully resonate is basically what you're saying, is you have to clear the shadow, that shadow illusion, so that truth can work itself out, in and out, basically.
Yeah, like if we're sitting if we have dense energy, the dense shadow energy within us, and we're trying to speak what we think is truth, the words may come out and the words are correct, but that energy that we're using, it's like trying to say sorry when you don't really mean it. Energetically, the other person's going to know that you didn't mean it, right? It's like saying to yourself, yeah, I want to change, but your brain going, yeah, right, you didn't mean that. You need to energetically, the energy behind the words means everything.
You got to feel it. And that's what I say all the time.
Feel it resonate.
Like people go, but I'm doing, but I do love myself. Like, do you believe that? Yeah. If you don't have belief, you cannot create the resonance needed to attract that level of abundance. And that whatever you're looking to bring into your life, if it's a huge thing, you're gonna need more resonance. Just
that's why when I do the work with my clients, like, yes, shadow alchemy uses affirmations, right? And you can change those affirmations to what resonates with you. But the thing is if you don't believe and you don't get the exacting tone, you're not going to get the healing, right? If you don't say, brain, I know you are telling me lies right now, and you will submit to truth, meaning that you won't, I'm done. Like that's you telling your brain, I'm done listening to the lies you're telling me, and I'm going a different path. If you don't say those words before you do the work, your brain's going, yeah, right. I don't believe you.
And think about this. Think about what's the one thing they always harped on growing up is don't talk to yourself. Don't be talking to yourself. Don't be, you know what I mean? Like it's the
Our
illusion
answers
is
are within
so
us.
perfect. Just subtle, the subtle layers. Just no, don't talk to yourself. That's bad. You're crazy doing that. No, 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 no. You don't behave that way. You don't behave that way. Just oh well, we don't talk about religion, we don't talk about politics, and we don't talk about money. And what were the three things that were controlled on us the whole time? Religion, politics, and money. And so breaking this illusion for ourselves will then also open up our eyes to the illusion in front of us. And so working with your clients, and as you've done this work and they started to heal, did they start to see the world for what it is at the same time? And what kind is that evolution for you, is like being almost a purveyor of the Great Awakening in such a beautiful, intimate way? What's that like to see people finally come online and go, whoa, this isn't what this isn't right.
I have people who so they get on a call with me and they're like, so the weirdest thing happened the other day. And I'll be like, okay, what happened? I said something and somebody went off on me. And I'm like, I sat there and went, I did nothing to, like, where did that come from? And I'm like, that's their trigger. That's got nothing to do with you. Nothing you did, nothing you, like, you did not, you were just the messenger. That's their journey, right? I've had other people who have are in certain situations where they're being taught by someone else, and they're all of a sudden they're listening to the words that are coming from this person's mouth, and they're going, yeah, I'm not getting what you're saying now. There's so much shadow there that I can't. I can't.
The vibration, you're literally on different levels of your consciousness at that point. I have people now that just like I'll be having a conversation with them and they'll just like walk away from me. It's like I disappear.
It's being able to hold space for people but not take on their energy, right? And there comes a point along everyone's journey where they've healed so much and they can now see the difference between truth and illusion, right? The trick here is not calling out the illusion for somebody else, right? Unless you're in a space where you're being called to do that, right? I've been put in those situations where I get this message from universe, you need to say something. And I'd be like, no, I am not.
Yes, no, I don't want to be the catalyst.
I am not. And it's in my own group though, yep. Right? So I have to think about the integrity of the group at that point too, right? And I'll try and reach out privately to the person and they don't want to interact with me privately. And I'm like, what do I need to do? And it's not like I take this lightly, because I don't.
That's why you're the messenger, is because you don't take it lightly.
I am a full believer that our job as warriors of light is not to fight other people's shadow.
It's to love.
Our job is to do our own inner work and let our light shine.
Reflect. Absolutely.
Right? So when we heal ourselves, we help other people heal, right? We lift them up. right? We bring them with us. When we heal our generational roots, when we heal that rooted energy of those people that influenced us in our journey, lots of times when I heal that energy that's deeply rooted within people, if those people that are connected to the roots are alive on this earth right now, more energy comes flowing in because they're healing.
Mm-hmm. And that's what's so crazy is it's all interconnected. I know people, it's like at nauseum, you're hearing we're in this together. We're all interconnected. We're all,
We
but it's
are.
so true. You heal
Like
all your stuff. You help the people in your life heal.
I've had clients who have lived with like their mother was very narcissistic and has been their entire life. And after a healing with me, the daughter cleansed a bunch of energy, a bunch of rooted energy within her, and energy came flowing in from those roots, right? I cleared it all out. Within hours, she went over to visit her mom. Her mom was a completely different person. Her mom asked her a question that normally would have turned into an argument or a very hurtful situation for my client. The conversation was pleasant. It was healthy. She goes, I don't even know who that person is. I said, that person healed through your healing.
It's because I really believe, Jackie, I really believe this thought matrix, this holographic simulation that we're in is designed specifically for us and what we need to go where we're going. Everyone is real. Everyone has a soul that's real. But what I'm being told is when you don't do your shadow work and you don't raise your vibration, your consciousness, you're basically a non-player character. You're like the shopkeepers in role-playing games that just kind of go through the motions and things like that. Like they have dialogue.
Life happens to you.
Life happens to you, exactly. And so what I've come to better understand now is every situation you're in is designed specifically for you. Every moment is a lesson for you to grow from. When we find presence through healing this vessel, we start seeing the signs and synchronicities from the universe that tell us where to go. You don't need trauma and you don't need drama to grow anymore because you're paying attention to the now. And that's why we harp on doing this energy work. It's because it's everything. It's absolutely everything. So we got 5 more minutes left in this interview. I want to talk about your business. I want to get a couple plugs in for what you're doing. I want to talk about your Telegram channel and then tell us a little bit about how you coach, who you coach, and how they can reach you to get more information about the amazing Jacquie Ellis.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'm a mindset coach. Because of my background in business, I also do business coaching as well. But it's really about soul aligning. And my new program that is just coming through is called Soul Aligned Life. And it's really about for those entrepreneurs that are trying to really soul align their path forward, right? So that they're balancing their divine feminine, divine masculine, and really not doing the busy work, but doing the work that matters.
Absolutely.
Right? And finding that balance within their life too, because really the hustle kills.
Not real. The grind. It grinds you down.
Yeah, it does. It's dense energy, right? It's powerless energy. So from a coaching standpoint, I help people that are not just entrepreneurs, but just anyone. I do Reiki, distance Reiki. Everything I do is online or over the ether, right? And so I'm offering Reiki, distance Reiki healing as well, and as well as coaching packages. So anyone who is going through a journey, anyone who's struggling mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, it's all connected to energy. We are energetic beings. And a lot of the energy that that we're holding is baggage that we weren't intended to hold. And we're being asked to heal from, right? So that is my journey. My journey is to help people heal from the energy, the dense energy that's trapped within them, and to empower them to know when they're in powerlessness versus when they're using their divine powers.
Ooh, I could tell you've been doing this for a while. You got these beautiful, quips and stuff. You know what I mean? And to me, when someone can flow and they can put statements together that are profound and they hit home, you know they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And
yeah, I'm a lot of times I don't even realize the words I'm saying. I'm just the downloads coming.
I love watching my interviews back because I don't know what goes on in these interviews when it's going down, because me and you right now, we're connected in the ether and the consciousness, and it's been such a beautiful conversation. So take us off with a little bit of your plugs, where we can find you. I'm going to put all your stuff in the description below. There's going to be a box that flashes every once in a while that tells people where you're at so they can see you throughout the interview. And I'm just so excited. I really think that this has been an amazing first conversation, one of hopefully many. I see a star being born. I want to help you in any way I possibly can, because if you all go to her Telegram and you just go in and you engage in the groups in Telegram that she's in, she will help you. She's on there all the time, just guiding people on everything that she can think of, anything that comes through her heart, anything Saint Germain comes and channels through to her. She'll give you. And I've heard amazing things from the people who have worked with you, from the people who have done your courses, who are your coaching clients. And I'm really excited because I have a feeling that I'm going to learn a lot from you here in the next however long.
Thank you. Yeah, my group on Telegram is Be Simply You. It's actually a group that I have on Facebook as well called Be Simply You. And it's my website is JacquieEllis.com. So it's really my name, just JacquieEllis.com. And you can find, I've got a ton of articles on there. I may not be like posting stuff all the time because I am a manifester. And so I also wait until I get the clear message. Which has taken a lot for me.
It does, but it's so much more fun. I enjoy life so much more now. Because it's just calmer.
Yeah. So I'm a manifester, Manny Jen. I'm in the design world, but the tag me in my Facebook, tag me in Telegram. I'm on Instagram as well. I love connecting with people. So I'm here for people. My service is to help people. So that's why I'm here. Yeah. So.
Thank you so much, Jacquie Ellis, for coming on the Ascension Files. For everyone, if you enjoyed what you've seen and if you liked what you've seen and heard today, hit that like button. If you want to join the Army of Energy, hit that subscribe button. If you want to donate to my work and help me build the Army of Energy, my links are below. Again, check me out on Telegram. I started an Instagram, haven't really posted too much yet. And eventually I'll get on Facebook. But with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have an even better evening. And go on JacquieEllis.com and check this amazing person out. She can help you get where you're trying to go. With that, I love you all. I'm proud of you all. And I will see you all soon. Take care and goodbye.